We delved deeply. We delved greedily into the darkness and awoke a creature of shadow and flame and metal. A creature of sheer terror from a time long lost. And he's also a complete...
So what was it about the metal Balrog that made it such a terrifying prospect to a younger version of me? And I assume to many out there, well, we're going to find out. I also have some very exciting news to reveal about the channel. More on that later.
As you can see, the beast has been pre-stripped. If you'd like to know more about paint stripping minis, metal or otherwise, you can click above here. We've got this tab here stuck in the body. We've got mold lines, we've got some things that need to be removed, some things that need to be put back on, and we're going to be filling a lot of holes. We're going to need our tools, files, clippers, sandpaper, mold line remover. Let's start with this green stuff. And these mold lines, filing away at this bum cheek, scraping at the wing for a bit. Ooh, a horrific mold line on this whip. Let's get rid of it. Satisfying tab removal. And we've got to scrub-a-dub-dub this big Balrog. And remove all of this old super glue. And as per usual with these kind of old models, we've got loads of bits that don't quite fit. Sake. But don't worry though, we're going to go absolutely mental on them with these files. Actually, ignore that, we are going to be quite careful. Oh, it's definitely getting there. But we're going to have to clip away some more old superglue. God, this is fun. God, I'm having so much fun. Look at all these bits that we've got. We've got the remnants of an ancient tab sticking out. We're going to have to clip it down. Now it should fit, probably. Pin vice drill bits that have been totally f***ed in previous projects. But it's okay. This time, that's definitely not going to happen, I promise. Oh, it's happened again. Here's a new drill bit. This time, it broke only slightly. As long as we've got a hole to put this pin in, snippety snip. Put some glue in there, and put a pin in. It's as simple as that, guys. Nothing to fear. Now we're going to clip that a little bit more. A little blob of Liquitex ink on there. And then we're just going to touch that up against the wing, roughly where it needs to be. Now we know where to drill a hole. And we're going to use our pin vise. We're on the third one now because the other one broke. And on it goes. Really do need to get a new pin vise. That's 4 drill bits gone now. Right, gluing the wings on. And as you can see, we're using some weights here just to hold it in place because it takes ages. These arms have got tabs on, so they're easy to glue in. Easier anyway. Going to need to glue this hand on a little bit harder, but it's got a little tab on there, so not too bad. We've got a lot of gaps to deal with here, so we're going to use this Vallejo plastic putty. I've never used it before, so I'm quite excited to see the results. I'm using an old brush here. Oh, and there's Bonnie. No. I'm using sandpaper here to remove all of the excess Vallejo putty once it's dried. And although I'm happy with the results, there's still a little bit of work to be done with the dreaded green stuff. So here we go. Rolling them into little green stuff worms at first, and then prodding them into the crevices with various clay tools, and then moulding them with the same tools so that they blend with the surrounding texture. If this looks like a nightmare, you'd be right. It is a bit of a nightmare and it takes ages. It's time to deal with the missing claw. So I'm sculpting a claw. I'm not a very good sculptor, but there you go, there's a claw. With the excess green stuff, I'm going to start working on the base. I want to make it feel like the floor of Moria, so I'm going to use this flagstone roller and blend the edges with this mold line remover. Now I'm going to start adding some rubble using these tiny little grey bricks. Now it's the bit I've been dreading, gluing it to the base, because all of the weight's on the one side. It begs the question, will it hold? This journey started when Boy gave me the metal Balrog and this beautiful book, Shadow and Flame. On one of the pages I came across this amazing vintage board. Indeed, every page was cram-packed full of lore, even painting guides. I love these old books. Look at this battle. It even had Dwarven runes translated into their English counterparts. And as I pored over this ancient labyrinthial map of Khazad-dûm, I pondered upon Balin's last stand. Did they behold the Balrog, a shadow wreathed in flame, standing in the darkness? Right, that's enough mucking about. Time to get serious with this medium ballast. I'm happy with the base now, and I think it echoes the floor of Moria. And now, time for some priming. Black, of course, because it's mostly, well, black being mostly shadow. The spray primer missed a few bits, so we're going to be handling that right now with this brush. I protected this with some matte varnish. This will stop it chipping, because metal loves to chip. I found this old Airfix 106 grey. This will be perfect for dry brushing. We want this to still appear very dark, almost black, but we're going to need some kind of light source and some kind of shape. So this is what this will do perfectly. I lost an incredible amount of footage here, but it's mainly me painting things white. The real challenge on the metal Balrog is painting all of the cracks and crevices white. They are not consistent like the plastic variant, and it takes absolutely forever. I almost completely lost my mind doing this. Might look a bit strange right now being white, but we're going to need this so that when we paint the fire over the top, it appears vibrant. Now we're going to use some matte varnish to protect what we've done so far. We're using Bad Moon Yellow contrast here to start putting the flame into shadow and flame. We're leaving a lot of white here so that it appears white hot at the centre. Using Magma Droth flame here. Where the flame begins to cool down, it starts to go orange, so we're putting that at the very top of the flame. And leaving, as I said, that little strip of white towards the centre, and doing the same on all of the cracks. This will give it the feeling of lava. This is all, of course, incredibly fiddly and time-consuming. The idea here is to start to get the gradation from white to yellow to orange to red in its basic form. We will be going back over all of these bits later to add a higher level of detail. Now moving on to the whip, we're using Bad Moon Yellow contrast again, and then Megadeth Flame or whatever the it's called to add the orange bits. So the gradient's starting to get there, but I want it to go a little bit further, so we're going to use this Fire Giant Orange to do just that. God, this music is so dramatic. Then I smote this contrast upon my workspace. Can I continue this fight?
From the lowest dungeon to the highest peak, I fought him with a Balrog.
Yeah! Oh, not again. This stuff sucks. You go. You get it. Yes! Nice.
Balrog, mate, do you know what I mean? Hang on a minute, I thought you said swords weren't going to help us here. Gandalf? Oh, he's gone. To be fair, I am quite tired.
As per usual, I'm at the part of the project where I have lost the f***ing plot. Do you know what? It all feels worth it. I had a look at the channel today and I didn't think I'd make it to 500 for at least 6 months, so thank you to everyone who subscribed. I also said I'd reveal something excellent and wonderful and super amazing, yes. So I got a few hilarious comments off JMac from JMac's Army Zavada, and we started chatting on Instagram, and we've decided to do a collaboration video. And then I started chatting to Adam Hay from 3D Games, and he wanted in as well. So we've got a couple of collaboration video ideas that I think you're going to like. I've also been invited to take part in a collaboration hosted by Benji from Benji's Hobbies, and that's all to do with battle companies, which is something I've wanted to look into. I'm a bit of a casual gamer, so it's time to delve into the books and actually learn some stuff, all right? There will, of course, be more information about upcoming videos, collaborations, and all sorts of exciting things happening on the channel coming up. That's good. Right, let's get back to the
And I come back to you now at the turn of the tide. I'm going to take this gradient of flame even further with blood red. I'm going to add this across the board to really get that cooling flame effect. Now, using demonic yellow, we're going to start to dry brush all of the flaming sections. And as you can see, this has a very powerful effect. Now we're going to use gold yellow to do the same thing. I'm going back in here to all of the crevices with the white, and this will give it the appearance that it is burning hot on the inside and it's cooling down as it hits the air. And this is what we should expect from flame. And this is not what GW does. I don't know why, nobody does. Now I'm going back in with the Bad Moon yellow contrast paint to add a little bit of flaming detail on the whip. Now I'm working some white into the base. Now I'm going to start tidying up the rock-like black scales. And this should really start sharpening up those details. And I wanted to go a little bit further here and start adding some smaller specks of lava as it cools down and breaks up into flame. I'm starting to add the smoke on top of the flame to complete that gradient. I use some grey here to highlight the smoke. I also dry brushed some lighter grey onto the areas that I wanted to draw attention to, and a final dry brush on the base as well. Now I'm doing a little bit of edge highlighting on the face because I want to draw most attention there, so I'm using a light grey and then a lighter grey still to highlight the horns closest to the flame. And the beast is done, but how well did I do? More on that later. First, goblins. Now, my friend boy wanted to make a start on his goblin army, so I thought I'd help him out. But I'm not going to make you suffer through painting goblins, so I'm just going to do this stop motion thing instead. Look at him go, popping away. Goblins. Stupid goblins.
It's only me again. If you want to see more restorations, dioramas, terrain builds, miniature paint tutorials, and general crap, then please subscribe. And maybe just bop that like button so I know that you're feeling the same feeling of general nihilism towards everything that's happening in the world as well. If you have any project ideas for me, feel free to leave those down in the comments below.
We have barred the gates, but cannot hold them for long. The ground shakes. Drums, drums in the deep. We cannot get out. Here it is, finally. The Balrog of Moria. I feel like I've conquered my fear, and that fear's turned into thrill. The same thrill I got when I watched the Moria scene for the first time and saw this terrifying metal model in shadow and flame. It was actually pretty fun finishing these old goblins that I've had around for a while. I ended up giving them a sort of rusty finish, and I think that's very appropriate. It felt awesome to hand this back to Boy, ready for our first battle.
So what about other Lord of the Rings miniatures that you could have a go at? Check these out.